know Doctor Who? And if you don't, then you can go.
Right, hello guys, watching Good Luck 2, and today we're going to do my favourite villains. We've done my favourite Sarah Jane stories, and we've done my least favourite Sarah Jane stories, and I've reviewed series 1 to 5 of the Sarah Jane Adventures, so check them out if you haven't already. But today we're going to do my favourite villains from the Sarah Jane Adventures, and then we're doing one last thing with the Sarah Jane Adventures next week, so stick around for that. And remember to subscribe, get the little bell, and then we're moving on to another connection to the Doctor Who universe. We're reviewing Class. Yes, we're going to review Class, and then we're going to move on to actual Doctor Who stuff towards the end of the year. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. There's a lot of videos to come out, so you might as well subscribe, get the little bell, and we'll begin now. So, my favourite villains from the show. No particular order of this, really. I haven't put a ranking or an order of this, but we're going to go for it. The Bane. Obviously, they were the first Sarah Jane villains, and I really enjoy them, and I enjoy that they come back, and it's a connection with Luke as well, and Sarah Jane's threat of losing Luke every time, and her having to be motherlyhood and defend her child against the Bane, particularly Mrs. Wormwood that keep trying to take him. And I really enjoy that dynamic, and the Bane have made us have Unit and made us have the Brigadier, so of course they're brilliant villains, and they're just constantly the bug-eyed creatures you would expect from the show, but so much more, and they're just fun. Next up we have the Nightmare Man. I really enjoy him, the way he just goes in and make people have nightmares and feeds off the nightmares. And he's been teasing Luke for all this time, and then he goes into Clyde and Rani's and make them have nightmares. And then he knows Sarah Jane's worst nightmare is to be left alone, so he doesn't send her into a nightmare. He's clever and works that out, and he just lets her live out a nightmare on her own in the world with no help. And yeah, I just really enjoy it, and he's such a creepy, weird, fun, interesting character. And fun fact, the person who plays the Nightmare Man also plays Davros, so yeah. Next up we have Slovene and Blavarine, you could say. The same thing really, the Slovene and Blavarine, but you know, I really enjoy a Slovene. Gotta love a Slovene. They're just brilliant, they're fun, they're funny, they're interesting. They have shooting claws, they have gas out here that can poison you. They're big, they're stumpy, they're gonna rip your bodies open and use them as skin to cover themselves to destroy the world basically, and they're just fun, but also comedic and so childish, and it works for Sarah Jane Adventures. Next up we have Androvax, yes. So, Androvax is a really interesting character. I love a good shapeshifter, and I think that's brilliant, and I really enjoy him. Jumping into people's bodies, creating mayhem, jumping into our main characters, and seeing the main characters basically play a bad guy and how they would react, and it's such fun. And I love it every time he comes back to the Sarah Jane Adventures. I wish he had one more episode, but I do believe he was dying of a poisonous bite, but we never seen him die, so he could always return. And yeah, and lastly, the Trickster. I mean, the ultimate Sarah Jane villain. When you think of Sarah Jane Adventures, you either think of the Slovene or the Trickster in my eyes. And yeah, the Trickster's just Sarah Jane's ultimate arch enemy, the one she has to defeat all the time. The Trickster's used not only her best friend that died against Sarah Jane, she's used her mom and dad against Sarah Jane, she's used the Doctor or her Peter, her husband to be, against Sarah Jane. The Trickster's used a lot of personal stuff against Sarah Jane, and Sarah Jane has to overcome it and show she is a worthy character to be the main character of the show, and her being strong and having to overcome this terrible thing the Trickster just keeps doing just because he wants to rule and feed off chaos. But to do that, he needs to get rid of Sarah Jane, and yeah, he will battle Sarah Jane once again, and I'm sure off screen he did. And of course, farewell Sarah Jane. The Trickster arrived one last time at her funeral to cause her mayhem, and yeah, the Trickster's brilliant, and I'd love to see the Trickster actually in Doctor Who. That was my villains, that's my thoughts, that's all my opinions on the villains that we've talked about today. Let me know your favourite villain of the Sarah Jane Adventures, and remember to subscribe because we're trying to get the channel goal. It'd be incredible if you could get there, and I will see you guys for another video very soon. Have a nice day.